Well, Buttercups, this is your opportunity to become a cosmic explorer, a story seeker, and maybe just a curious mind. Welcome to a special bonus episode, the hidden chamber of this podcast, where we unlock the extra mysteries, secret stories, and additional deep dives that didn't make it into the main episodes. Think of this as the after hours lounge of this podcast, where the conversation gets a little deeper, the theories a little wilder, and the secrets a lot juicier. So if you're here, congratulations. You've discovered the secret level of this podcast. Get comfortable, grab your favorite drink, and let's dive into something extra fascinating today. Buttercups, get ready for an epic journey through the legends, rebels, poets, athletes, and rock stars who helped shape Ireland and the world. In this special bonus episode, we dive into a colorful lineup of iconic Irish figures spanning centuries of history, cultural, literature, politics, sports, and music. From revolutionary leaders and literary geniuses to chart topping musicians and record breaking athletes, Ireland has produced some of the most fascinating and influential personalities on the planet. You'll meet brilliant writers who changed literature forever, musicians who filled stadiums and shaped modern music, historic figures who fought for Ireland's identity, sports legends who dominated the world stage, actors, creators, and cultural icons lighting up Hollywood and beyond. Along the way, we will share fun facts, surprising stories, and legendary moments that make these Irish icons unforgettable. So grab your green gear, maybe pour yourself a pint, and join us as we celebrate the people behind Ireland's magic, creativity, courage, and global influence. Because when it comes to unforgettable personalities, Ireland truly punches above its weight. All right, so we have discussed some very important people in terms of Ireland and its history, right? Well, I thought that maybe the rabbit hole of some famous and influential Irish people would be kind of interesting. So here's that bonus episode. Okay, so let's start with Brian Boru, circa 941 to 1014. Now, this was a high king of Ireland, okay? His accomplishments include uniting Ireland, winning the Battle of Clontarf against the Vikings, and as a fun fact, he was actually seen as Ireland's ultimate warrior king, right? Which is kind of cool because, I mean, he did do some really cool things. And then now we go from a high king to a pirate queen. You heard me right, pirate queen. So Grace O'Malley, circa 1530 to 1603, which made her 73, she led naval fleets off Ireland's west coast and resisted English control. Now, you know what a really fun fact for her is? Is that she actually met with Queen Elizabeth I to personally negotiate terms for her family. To be able to get up to a royal as a pirate queen, that is awesome. But then I'm just maybe kind of weird sometimes. All right. So let's move into 1667 for Jonathan Swift. Okay. Now, he died in 1745. He was a satirist and author. One of his accomplishments was that he wrote Gulliver's Travels. And fun fact, he critiqued both British rule and Irish society with biting humor. So he didn't care who he was critiquing. He didn't have a preference. All right. Oscar Wilde, 1854 to 1900. He was a playwright, novelist, poet. I'm sure you've heard of him in some form. His accomplishments, he wrote The Picture of Dorian Gray and The Importance of Being Earnest, which I think that is a really good movie. I should read the book, both books actually. Now, fun fact about him, he is a master of wit. He lived flamboyantly and died in Paris. All right, now we're moving to Michael Collins, 1890 to 1922. He is a revolutionary leader and politician. Now, why is he important or influential because he is a key figure in Irish independence. He is an architect of guerrilla warfare tactics, and he negotiated Anglo-Irish treaty. Fun fact, well, maybe not so fun for him. He was assassinated during the Irish Civil War and regarded as a national hero. All right, James Joyce, 1882 to 1941. This man was a novelist and poet. Accomplishments include Ulysses, Dublinaires, and revolutionary in literary style, pretty much. His fun fact is that he is actually one of the most influential modernist works, which is interesting because remember, um, Ireland had four Nobel Prize winners in literature, right? And we're actually going to talk about one of them, which is W.B. Yeats, 1865 to 1939. He won that Nobel Prize in 1923. He's actually a key figure in Irish literary revival. One of his fun facts is that he actually co-founded Abbey Theatre in Dublin. And he was a poet and dramatist. Our second, one of our other Nobel Prize winners, George Bernard Shaw, 1856 to 1950. He was also a playwright and critic, and he won the Nobel Prize in 1925 for literature. And he also had works of literature out there. His fun fact is he's actually very known for his sharp satire and social commentary. He's probably the one you would sit back in the corner and talk smack with, is what I'm getting here. I'm just saying. All right, Seamus Heaney, 1939 to 2013. So this man lasted into the 2000s. All right. He was another Nobel Prize winner, and he won it in 1995. And his works reflected Irish history and landscape. And he was known as actually one of Ireland's greatest poets of the 20th century. Now we move to more political and social figures, and y'all know that how I feel about that kind of thing. I don't ever mention it, but for this purpose, I will include it. Okay. So let's start with Mary Robinson, as she was born in 1944. President of Ireland, human rights advocate. So she is actually the first female president, 1990 to 1997. And she is a UN High Commissioner for Human Rights. She actually modernized Irish presidency. She's very globally influential. And then we move on to somebody else is Eamon de Valera, 1882 to 1975. Now, this was a statesman and prime minister. He is actually a key figure in Irish independence, and he was president of Ireland for 14 years. He was actually very central to shaping 20th century Ireland. Now, Daniel O'Connell, 1775 to 1847. He was a political leader, and he actually fought for Catholic emancipation called the Liberator. He was actually known for peaceful campaigns to gain civil rights, which is nice to see that it wasn't just all blood and gore. At least for me. Some people like the blood and gore. Y'all do you. Anyways, so we're gonna move on to like some writers, poets, and thinkers. You should recognize this name, Bram Stoker, 1847 to 1912. He was a novelist, and he wrote Dracula in 1897. Now we have seen so many variations of Dracula, right? Now, I personally love, and don't laugh at me, one of my favorite movies is Hotel Transylvania 3. I know it's a kid's movie, just something about Drac on there. But Bram Stoker actually based Dracula partially on Vlad the Impaler and Irish folklore. So there might be some kind of truth to Dracula. Flann O'Brien, 1911 to 1966. He was a novelist and humorist, and he wrote at Swim to Birds. Had an experimental narrative style, and he was actually a master of the absurd. He had comedic literature, so his humorous style probably was very interesting. Edna O'Brien, and born in 1930. She is a novelist and playwright, and she wrote the Country Girls trilogy and explored women's lives in Ireland. She actually faced censorship early in her career due to controversial themes. I love that she was a rebel in her own right, you know? All right, we have another novelist, Colm Toyban. If I mispronounced your name, I'm sorry. And they were born in 1955. This novelist and author wrote Brooklyn and the Master, and wrote both historical and contemporary fiction with emotional depth. The thing is that I love historical fiction, and even though I know that it is a subject, a sub of like fiction, it still has some truth to it, right? And it's kind of interesting to see different people's points of view. So yeah, but I like that's what I love about being able to write and novelists and authors. You have that ability to create. You know how if y'all listen to February's episodes, right? And I talked about the possibilities that we have when we have the the art of waiting, right? That's what artists and novelists get to have. They get to write and explain and elaborate on those possibilities, which I love. Just saying. Um, so we have some famous musicians and artists as well. So we have Bono from lead singer of U2. His full name is Paul David Hewson, and he was born in 1960. He actually is an activist for global humanitarian causes. Now, the fun fact here, it actually is kind of fun. He's known for sunglasses as a personal trademark. Um, so Enya, born in 1961. I'm sorry, any 90s kid will know who this is, okay? She is a singer and composer. She actually is a best selling Irish solo artist and produces ethereal, Celt inspired music. And I love that the fact that she rarely performs because it does add to her mystique because you don't really know much about her, you know, except that she's talented. Let's just put it that way. Sinead O'Connor, 1966 to 2023. So we recently lost her. She was a singer and activist, and her hit song "Nothing Compares to You" um, was very popular. She was actually a social activist as well, um, and it doesn't surprise me because she's actually known for her shaved head and fearless personality. And to be a social activist, you have to have a fearless personality, and we all know that to be true. You can't be a rebel and be afraid. Hosier, Andrew Hosier Brine, was born in 1990, and he's a singer-songwriter. He's actually known for the song "Take Me to Church," which I'm sure if you've on any social media you've heard a short variation of. And additional modern blues influenced music. His lyrics are often inspired by our Irish culture and folklore. Kind of makes me want to listen to it a little bit more now. Um, Neil Horan, born in 1993. He's a singer and songwriter. He's actually a member of One Direction. He's a solo artist, also a solo artist. He's actually from Mullingar, Ireland, and he's known for his guitar skills. Now that let's not leave out the actors and entertainers because we have our political, our social activists. We also have different people who bring to life a script in such wonderful ways, right? So Liam Neeson, born in 1952, is an actor. And if you don't know who he is, just look at the Taken movies. Let's just be honest. And this man is known for his deep voice and commanding screen presence. And when he says he's gonna find you, he's probably gonna find you. Let's be honest. Ugh. And then hold on, I'm gonna swoon for a second. Pierce Brosnan, 1953 is when he was born, and this is one of our James Bond, and also Stu from Mrs. Doubtfire, and he has such an iconic, suave persona that holy schmoly, this man is just fire emoji times 10. Okay? He's hot. Um, Moving on. So then we have Maureen O'Hara. She was born in 1920 and died in 2015. She is she's known as the Queen of Technicolor, but she is, if you ever watch her in any films, she's so good. She's so iconic. She's so very main character energy, even if she's not playing a main character role. I love it. And she'd starred in like a lot of westerns, a good number of them with John Wayne, and a lot of classic Hollywood films. Now, Gabriel Bryan, born in 1950, is known for The Usual Suspects and In Treatment. He is an actor and writer, and he actually advocates for mental health awareness, which I absolutely adore. I think that more people should advocate for mental health, if I'm being honest. So I'm gonna go into sports, which I'm not a sports person, so pardon me if this comes off as a little because I'm not sure. But I have heard of Conor McGregor. He is an MMA fighter. He was born in 1988. He is actually a UFC featherweight and lightweight champion. Um, and he's very charismatic. He's very controversial, but he has helped globalize MMA, which is actually probably a huge thing. And Roy Keane, born in 1971, is a footballer and manager. He is captain of Manchester United and one of Ireland's greatest footballers. And he's known for his fiery leadership and competitive spirit, which probably makes him a really good captain. And our last sports uh, person is going to be Rory McIlroy, and he was born in 1989. Um, a golfer, which I don't know that I could ever do. I've I've only been golfing once, and I just rode the golf cart around. Just being honest. But anyways, this Rory is a four-time major championship winner, which means he's had to put a lot of work into it, right? And apparently the youngest world number one in golf history. What I love about this list, if I'm being very honest with you, is that there's so many types of people doing different things that are influential and important, and that tells me that you can be anything you want, and there's still a department that is going to make it so that you can help and be influential and be helpful. So I hope that with this episode that you take from here that you can do pretty much anything you want to do and do what you need to do and help others, because everything we do affects others. So let's be the best we can be. Until next time, buttercups. And there you have it. Just a glimpse into some of the incredible people who helped shape the story of Ireland. From ancient warriors and fearless revolutionaries to those poetic masterminds, world class athletes, and musicians filling stadiums with unforgettable sound, the Emerald Isle has never been short on legendary talent. What makes Ireland so special isn't just its breathtaking cliffs, rolling green hills, or lively pubs. It's the people, the storytellers, the dreamers, the rebels, and the creators who carried Irish culture across the globe. Again and again, this small island has produced voices that changed literature, leaders who reshaped history, performers who lit up stages and screens, and athletes who inspired millions. And that is the magic of Ireland. Generation after generation, new legends arise, each one adding another chapter to a story that's thousands of years in the making. So, thank you for joining us on this journey through the legends of the Emerald Isle. And that brings us to the end of this special bonus episode, Buttercups. If you made it all the way here, congratulations! You've officially explored one of the hidden corners of this podcast. These bonus episodes are where we get to wander a little deeper, ask the strange questions that we're all wondering, and uncover the details most people never get to hear about. I hope you enjoyed this extra dive into today's topic and maybe discovered something new, surprising, or a little mysterious, and maybe something that said, wait, what? If you liked this bonus episode, be sure to follow the podcast, share it with a fellow curious mind, and keep the conversation flowing. And remember, sometimes the most interesting stories are the ones hidden between the pages. Until next time, stay curious, buttercups, keep exploring, and I'll see you in the next episode. Or maybe the next secret bonus drop.